Okay guys, welcome back to our channel. So what is happening in today's news is that the Igbo senators staged a walkout on the Senate yesterday. Yes, the whole Senate and House of Assembly yesterday just caught fire. What is the problem? The Senate has refused to immortalize Humphrey Nwosu, the man that conducted the most free and fairest election that was ever done in Nigeria. That's the election of June 12, 1993. Guys, you all know the role that Humphrey Nwosu played in this election. He was the INEC chairman then, the next chairman, and he was the one that brought out all the data that made it specific that it was Abiola that won the election, even though Babangida did not let that understand because he annulled the election. But hopefully, how many years later now, the same Ibrahim Babangida came out to say that he regretted his actions and it was truly Abiola that won this election. So now the Igbo senators are now saying that the INEC building should be named after Humphrey Nwosu. Is that too much to ask, guys? This is not even something that should be debated about. But guess what? The Senate refused that, saying that Oshomole stood up to say that Humphrey Nwosu do not have the audacity, did not have the guts to declare Abiola president, knowing full well. But he knew what was going on right then. We were not in democracy, and it was Babangida that has the final say. So what was he supposed to do? And had it been that he withheld the data that made it known that it was Abiola that won the election, we wouldn't have been here today. He would have just decided, it would have been easier for him to side with Ibrahim Babangida and still have his seat. But because this man just wants to stand for the truth, he made it known that Abiola, even though he's a Yoruba man and this Humphrey Nwosu is an Igbo man, he has nothing to gain, if you ask me. But he still stands for the truth and released the data and called out that it was Abiola that won the election. So what did they expect him to do? As at then, knowing how tight our regime then was and a lot that was going on. So the Igbo senators said no, if they are not going to honor this man, that they are going to stage a protest. In fact, they have already done the walkout protest, so a lot more is expected. In fact, guys, right now the Senate, I don't think they are understanding anything at all, because the Senate has been divided. So many people are for Humphrey Nwosu, so many people are against him. I don't even know what they want to gain. Just name the building after his name. That is all. It's not even going to cost much money. It's not even going to cost any money at all. Just name the building after him to honor the man. But because their heart or conscience cannot take it, that's why they have decided not to do this. And guess what? The Igbo senators are not taking this lightly. So guys, I'm going to allow you to watch this video to hear what Oshomole said and what the Igbo senator has to reply to him. Just watch.
Leave my house to come to these chambers. I ask God to guide my thoughts, to give me the will to speak the truth, and to service my conscience. I have listened and I've read through this 2-page motion moved by a man I respect and I will always respect. But when it comes to facts, the written word, it will go into history. I want to be on record as saying the following. Paragraph 3 of this document, this motion, which says, quote, conscious of his courageous defense of the democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential election that led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed MKO Abiola as the winner of the election. This is manipulating and wrestling with the truth. June 12 became famous because Nigerians who voted and the elections result already announced, people were at liberty to do their calculation. But because the chief electoral officer failed to formally announce the figures and declare the winner, the Nigerian people on their own talk about, if you look at the media review, the man who is widely believed to have won the election, because the man who should have announced it failed to do so. The second paragraph, or the fourth paragraph, informed that he stood his ground during Nigeria electoral wishes and aspirations were realized, which culminated in June 12 being marked as a 30th Democratic Day due to his unwavering stand as an umpire. Sir, again, this is not correct. President Muhammadu Buhari, to his credit, decided, and may God bless him for that, said what Nigerians already knew, but coming from a city head of state and president, that gave it the currency. He said everybody knew that MKO Abiola won June, election that was conducted on June 12th. Nigerians were really in pain because nobody is able to quote where Professor Nwosu announced the results. It is his failure to announce the result, whether other threat or other whatever forces that prevented him from so doing, that Nigerians were unable to say that he was declared the winner. In fact, I was active in that struggle. When we met with the late General Sani Abacha, he said the reason he decided to order the detention of MKO Abiola was that MKO Abiola proclaimed himself as the winner of the election and therefore as president. It was on that basis Abiola was arrested and he died in detention. If Professor Nwosu had the courage, I emphasize courage as is being suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences. After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing. We cannot distort history in this Senate. We must be seen to have sentiments that reflect the average feeling of the average Nigerian. Professor Nwosu, when it mattered most, his courage failed him. And when you give national honors and recognition, you do so for people who have shown courage, who have paid the supreme price, or who were ready to pay that price. Lastly, cognizance of the fact that Professor Nwosu laid a landmark foundation, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason it is even more painful that you allegedly have all this courage to conduct elections. I'm on record as saying that Professor Nwosu and President Babangida fooled 18 million Nigerians that voted.
Sorry, we can't take it anymore. Please, I'm sorry.
Thank you, my president. Our dear distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Tony Nwe, representing Anambra North. Mr. President, the issue at stake is an appeal I'm making that we should not allow our personal biases, our personal sentiments, and our party affiliations to influence what we are doing here. So far I'm concerned, during the June 12 presidential election, I was a presiding officer. And yes, I just came out from secondary school. I was the presiding officer in that election. That election has been adjudged up to today the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. Mr. President, any Nigerian that googles internet, which election is the freest and fairest election in Nigeria, is the June 12 presidential election. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, a professor of political science from the prestigious University of Nigeria, a civil servant, before he was appointed in 1989, did his best, despite the pressure from Babangida government, despite the court order, Mr. President, allow me, despite the court order by Justice Ibeme that stopped the election, despite all the threats from the military cabal, the man still went ahead to conduct the freest and fairest election. Was it Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made Justice Saleh from Katangum Emirate from Bauchi to annul the election? Was it Justice Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made the military cabal to throw Nigeria into confusion? It is highly unfair. One of my colleagues mentioned about the honor. Is it because he belongs to a particular political party? Let us not distort facts. It's very disappointing that some of us should be distorting facts just because Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an Igbo man.
Thank you very much.
Allow this motion to stand.
Thank you, sir.
I rest my case.
Thank you. Please, order, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ezanwa Onyewuchi, and I represent Imo East Senatorial District of Imo State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am indeed very worried that the achievements of Professor Humphrey Nwosu is being subjected to such fierce debate. There's no doubt, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that Mr. Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an architect of the freedom we enjoy today as a nation. Humphrey Nwosu
He has the floor. Allow him to say his
no
mind.
doubt is
You are
the hero
protected.
of the June 12th election. And there's no doubt that he introduced something that was very novel to us, the option A4, and conducted an election, adjourned the freest election that we
You have 1 second remaining. 1 second.
had. Mr. President, I want to warn or advise that this Senate should not resort to scapegoatism, to say, this is the person that caused this is the person that did not do this. Let us look at things objectively.
If he is coward to withdraw in doing what is right at the critical moment, I think my brothers here should be fair enough. We are not saying you should not bring his matter up. And as my colleague have said, everybody that we have put before us that should be honored, we have celebrated them here. And don't forget, this is the highest lawmaking body of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where we should see ourselves as one and one Nigeria. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because it's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized as one of the very few Nigerians that have done the right thing. And I want to plead with my colleague. As I've said, I'm not speaking along the ethnicity line, along the party line, but I'm speaking as Nigeria, who witnessed the horrific moment.
Thank you. 1 second remaining.
Of Professor Humphrey Nwosu to carry out his assignment at the most critical hour.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Now let's go to prayers. Prayer 1. All the federal government to immortalize him by naming the INEC headquarters in Abuja after him. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Further urges the federal government to posthumously honor him with national honors. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Extend condolences to his family and recognize their sacrifice in support of his work towards a better Nigeria. Those in favor of this prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. So, hello, sorry. Order! Order! Please, can somebody order?
All right, guys, so you have watched this video and see the Igbo bias that we have been talking about. This is a lesson to all the Igbo governors, Igbo senators, in fact, every Igbo leader, that once you are up there, all you should be thinking, or majority of what you should be thinking, is what to be better for your region, because all those people out there are also out for their own region. So once you side them to instigate or to castigate your people, one day it is going to come home. Now look at them now facing the same bias that the common Igbos has been facing. This is the same thing that is playing out in this Nnamdi Kanu case. None of them has come up to say release Nnamdi Kanu, because someone mentioned it that if truly Igbo leaders want Nnamdi Kanu to come out today, that all they need to do is very simple. Let them just gather together and go and meet Tinubu. There is no way he will not release the man. But because they are after their own interests, now look at what is happening today. They are the ones who are staging a walkout protest against the whole Senate. So have you seen? Now they have realized that one of these days it is going to be on them. This Igbo bias is also going to be on them. No matter how rich, no matter how influential you are, one day it is going to be on you. And you will feel what your people that you are meant to represent has been feeling all this while. So guys, share me your opinion in the comment section, like and share this video, and also subscribe to our channel. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.